anime this year has been absolutely diabolical. The winter season itself felt like a historical event because we were getting hit back to back with peak after peak, to the point where I wouldn't be surprised if the charts were exploding every single time an episode of JJK came out, if everyone was crashing out with that one episode of Oshinoko that came out, or if everyone just sat back and felt like the Ratatouille meme anytime they heard the opening from Frieren that season. It felt like the battle that was gonna happen with Anime of the Year was already solidified with that season. And then the spring season dropped, and Kifri did his magic spell, and people were like, hold on, which Hatatalia might be the anime of the year this year? Until ReZero started walking up the steps. And every single step it took was essentially a generational episode, making every other anime look like it was LARPing anime of the year. It took every single chart by storm. What we are doing right now is witnessing a sequel eviscerate every single anime that's coming out this year, even topping other sequels like Jujutsu Kaisen and Frieren. And if you told me at the start of the year that an isekai that was essentially a psychological horror thriller was going to be the anime that is potentially going to win anime of the year, basically stepping on the necks of the biggest fantasy and shonen anime of our generation, I would have said that you're trolling. Until this shit happened.
お願い。あなたの名前を聞かせて。
俺の名前は夏木すばる。
And if you're for some reason living on the raw going like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? He's LARPing. ReZero is not that good. Let me just throw some numbers at you real quick. Because even if you don't like where the numbers come from, numbers do not lie. And the numbers coming out right now for ReZero are literally defying how the internet usually works. Because right now, ReZero is sitting at number 2 on MyAnimeList, right under Frieren. And just think about that for a second. It already passed Full Metal Alchemist, and it's actively creeping up on Frieren, an anime that took years of sustained, unprecedented community hype to dethrone Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And now the continuation of ReZero just blew by that shit on the stairs. And usually I'm the first person to think that these websites like MyAnimeList or IMDb don't mean nothing in the grand scheme of things, because fandoms are volatile. There's a lot of people that just go on the website and start review bombing anything that gets above their favorite anime, or even the fact that people just watch the first season so they don't watch season 2, so they don't rate season 2, so the ratings for season 2 are inflated by the people who already like the show. There's just a bunch of clear flaws that rating websites have for anime, but just bear with me here, because I need you to understand that this specific case is different. Because let me ask you, how does MyAnimeList usually work? Because usually how it works is the anime premieres, the diehard fans inflate it to like 9.1 or 9.2 in the first 2 weeks, and then as the casual audience starts watching it, it usually just regulates back down to wherever it should be, like 8.7, 8.6, whatever it's at. We saw it happen with Attack on Titan, Love is War, Spy Family, the list goes on. But now ReZero, this show premiered with like an 8.7, and instead of going down, it was constantly climbing every single episode. Meaning with every episode, niggas were doing the opposite of what usually happens and rating it higher and higher every single week. And now it's sitting at number 2 at 9.2. And the cherry on top is that the season technically isn't even over. We still have 8 to 9 episodes coming out the next quarter, and it's already right next to Frieren. So if it's already pulling these kinds of numbers midway through the season, imagine what it's gonna look like whenever the season is over. And this is like one of the times I could actually say the rating is an accurate representation of what the anime looks like, because it's insane. So just the fact that there's a timeline. There's a timeline. Even if you hate the website MyAnimeList, there's a timeline that somebody who wants to get into anime can be like, huh, you know what? I really want to watch anime. Let me just go on an anime website like MyAnimeList and just pick whatever is the first one to get myself into anime. And the first anime they are going to see is going to be ReZero. Oh my God, I might nut. I might not, bro. And speaking of getting somebody to try it, bro, if somebody goes on IMDb, it is on a generational run on IMDb right now. Another website that everyone's probably gonna hate, but it's not gonna lie this time. But before we even get into some shit like that, I have to preface that this shit with anime episodes getting rated by episodes and not even like the season, it's already kind of stupid that they're rating seasons themselves and not the entire anime as a whole, like Hunter x Hunter is, but season 1 part 2, season 2 part 2, season 2 part 3. IMDb is rating episodes themselves. I think this shit is really fucking stupid, because if episode 10 from season 4 is rated like a 10 and a motherfucker sees that shit on like the highest rated anime episodes, they might just go to that episode and be like, let me see why it might be some crazy ass fight, and then they might just see like Subaru falling down some stairs and be like, what the fuck is going on? Him falling down some stairs is rated a 10 out of 10, bro. Man, fuck this shit. But honestly, I'm bringing this shit up just to be dramatic, because what ReZero just pulled off is completely unheard of. Because just look, in succession from episodes 8 to 10, 9.9 out of 10, 9.8 out of 10, 9.8 out of 10. And then we get to episode 11. And this episode was literally sitting at a perfect 10 out of 10 for an entire day on IMDb. And anyone who even spends literally 5 minutes on the internet knows that sitting at a 10 on IMDb is quite literally impossible, because the moment an anime or a show gets popular, rival fandoms start to square up and review bomb that shit. And sure enough, the review bomb started to drop, dragging it down to a 9.9, still with over 60,000 ratings. That is what you call a historic run. Generational, if I may say. And what makes this whole thing insane to me is that there are still people who refuse to watch ReZero, which is tragic. Because if you never watched ReZero, from the outside, it may just look like another dude gets hit by a truck and wakes up in a fantasy land with elf girls and magic. Like, it generally looks like every other isekai anime on the market. But the reason people lose their minds over ReZero is because this motherfucker Subaru is quite literally losing his mind almost every single episode. And instead of just giving you some fantasy where he just wins by the power of friendship or whatever the fuck, which maybe sometimes he does with this motherfucker, the anime shows and forces him to fail over and over and over and over and over again. And on top of all that, the way they use return by death isn't just to show that Subaru is just dying over again. It's terrifying because it resets the timeline that he's in, but it never resets him or fixes him. So it has this motherfucker literally going insane. It's one of the only anime where psychological damage isn't just something characters cry about for one episode and then magically recover from the next week an episode drops. And that's why all these ratings don't surprise me. The numbers are just the symptoms. The writing is a disease, bro. This shit is insane. So much of a disease that the writer's mother called this nigga a devil, bro. And even knowing all of this, niggas hear the word isekai and just completely check out. Write this shit off. And I get it. Like, the anime still has issues. All anime is gonna have issues, except Frieren. Unless you have a TikTok brain. Usually isekai honestly feels like there's like no stakes, because honestly the nigga already died. What's gonna be the purpose if the nigga dies again? So it honestly feels like there may be like no emotional stakes. But the way ReZero does this shit, it's honestly one of a kind. And honestly, I could even say, save the genre of isekai. It takes every single trope you think you know and deconstructs it with zero mercy. See what I did there? Zero mercy, because ReZero. So zero mercy, ReZero mercy. Laugh. Or this motherfucker's gonna slap her again. And because ReZero is operating at this god tier, flawless level right now, it's putting an immense amount of pressure on the upcoming anime. Specifically, it's setting up shows like Mushoku Tensei to have extremely big shoes to fill, like Shaq level shoes to fill. And with Mushoku Tensei actually coming out this July, the entire community is wondering, what the fuck you gonna do, Mushoku Tensei? Are you gonna measure up to this shit? Are you gonna do some crazier shit than this motherfucker did? Because the bar has it launched into the orbit, bro. That bar is on another planet. Which brings us back to the ultimate debate. Anime of the year. Because historically, ReZero has been completely forgotten or even flat out ignored when it comes to the anime awards. It will put a masterclass of a season and still somehow walk away with quite literally nothing. But this year, it's impossible for it not to be nominated for Anime of the Year. If it's not nominated for Anime of the Year, somebody's fucking racist. But because of the sheer volume of ratings that it already has, the general consensus, and the cultural chokehold it has on the community by making everybody change their profile pictures to this nigga Subaru, they essentially don't have a choice but to at the very least nominate it. And if it's nominated, it's GG, bro. It's GG no re. It's honestly a tragic race. If we look back, the year Frieren was honestly supposed to win Anime of the Year, lost the top spot to Solo Leveling. And going into this year, the narrative was that Frieren might lose the crown again to something that's probably even more justified with the crazy shit that Jujutsu Kaisen was doing this season. But now it's gotta go up against motherfucking rezero walking up the steps. So even though it's gonna be a brutal race between these three anime, if I have to give my honest opinion right now, rezero clears, bro. I know this might be a hot take, but at the end of the day, anime is about making you truly feel something. Frieren makes you feel something. Jujutsu Kaisen makes you feel hype. The shit that I was feeling for the last 4 to 5 episodes of ReZero, with this motherfucker walking up the stairs, with this motherfucker forgetting his memories, with this nigga trying to figure out why all these motherfuckers actually like him and what the fuck he did when he hates himself. There's honestly nothing that can come close to making you feel something so specific, so targeted, that ReZero makes you feel as a human being. And honestly, nothing, absolutely nothing made me feel nearly as uncomfortable, as anxious, as distraught when I saw Subaru slap this bitch.